So my name is Anastasia Blinova and I am a software engineer at XOCEAN.
My name is Clodagh Cunningham and I'm the survey team lead for XOCEAN. I've been working in XOCEAN since 2018 and my background is engineering. I studied mechanical engineering at Queen's University in Belfast.
I did like science growing up. Both my parents are computer scientists, so I feel that might have influenced how I grew up. So I knew I always liked maths and did physics. I did theoretical physics in Trinity, and that's how it all started.
Yeah, I always had a keen interest in how things worked. I always loved maths and physics in school and performed well at them. I grew up on a farm, so had lots of opportunities to see how things worked and to understand how machinery got put together and to troubleshoot on site as well. So yes, always very keen to develop my knowledge in that area, and which led me into engineering.
So I found out that UCD does a space science masters. So that was what I was going to do. I was going to space. So I went and did the Masters. As part of the Masters, you have to do an internship. Ireland is not the biggest in space. So the internship I did was with a company, a software company that does software for space. So they had clients in ESA and NASA and JAXA and all the rest. So that was cool, but that got me into then computers. But then I got a job here, quite luckily. I was just kind of applying for various little places, just places that sounded interesting, and they got an interview here and ended up here, and that was cool. At that point it was a much smaller company. Like my team was just me and my boss. There was just the two of us. You know, you had to do everything. You were there, you know, wiring up devices, and you were like, you know, testing the thrusters, and you were writing code. So when it's a small company, you do everything. But now, thankfully, the team is bigger. So I'm now more specifically in a software. And now there's two of us who are specifically software people on the team. But again, still small companies. So you're still kind of moving around, like, you know, doing like a new alarm for the pilots one day, and then the next day you're helping out the surveyors fix their software and such. So it's a broad spectrum.
What really interests me about engineering is the idea of a collaboration, working together with a team to come up with a solution or an innovation to a problem that existed. I think when I was younger, I would have thought that engineering was typically, you know, somebody working very hard on their own, like, you know, engineers and innovators from the past. But as I grew older, I learned that it was much more of a team effort, and it was a collaboration of people's idea and bringing them together. That really excited me. When I started my career, I was executing projects from, you know, design stage to build and execution to fully commissioned systems. The particular role in XOCEAN, I'd previously worked in offshore projects, which I found really interesting. Over 70% of the world is covered in the ocean, so there's a vast opportunity out there to gain information and harness energy from the world's oceans. Through previous experience, we worked with a lot of survey companies, and there just obviously was a better way to do it. It was slow and unreliable methods that we engaged. And I'd worked with James, he was the CEO previously as well. And when he started the company XOCEAN, I was very interested to come work with him and continue my career in the marine industry and improve the solutions that were available to explore and discover what was possible offshore. So in 2017, when the company was founded, and in 2018 when I joined, we were working from our CEO's garage. We had one room there with multiple desks, and we were all working together. From there we grew in size, and we needed some offices, so we opened some small offices in Greenore, which is now our R&D centre. And you know, we've grown from the initial employees to then 50 to then 100, now 200, aiming to be at 300 this year.
Whenever I try to explain my job, I say it's robot boats that go out and survey the seabed. I like to say robot boats because it makes them sound cool, but they also could be called drones. Officially, we call them uncrewed surface vessels, so USVs. And they're boats, they're about the size of a car, and we have survey equipment like mounted to the bottom of them or towed from the back of the boat, and they will go out and survey the seabed. And the clients who would want this, or the clients that we work with, would be like those who are building wind farms or maintaining wind farms. Or, as I found out, in Scotland, all the islands, all their electrical lines go undersea, along the seabed, so those have to be surveyed every now and then to make sure nothing's wrong. So we've had a few contracts just surveying those electrical lines. With the traditional boats, it takes a while to organise, getting the boat, getting all the people into the boats and going out with these big huge boats and surveying this land, I suppose the sea. But with these boats, they're far more, it's faster to move them from one place to the other and get them out in the ocean and surveying the areas that you need. So you can get out, you can do the same job for faster and also cheaper and also more environmentally friendly, because you don't need such a big boat as you would if there was people on them.
It's quite a dangerous operation every time you send somebody offshore because we don't know what's going to happen. But people can work safely from their homes. We use satellite and 4G when we're close to land to communicate and control the USV. We have survey equipment installed on the hull of the USV. It looks like a trimaran, but the middle hull is used for the survey equipment. And pilots are located remotely and they operate the USV itself and ensure the safe navigation of the USV, just like any vessel that would be out at sea. We then also have online surveyors online who control the survey equipment and monitor the data that we're collecting, ensuring that it's of the right quality and meets the client's specifications. We find that at times when people want to start families, particularly women, that often they leave the sector to look at other areas to continue their work to allow them to be closer to home. But with XOCEAN, they can actually work from home. We operate 24/7, so there's shifts there. We use different jurisdictions to cover nighttime shifts, but also that's available locally as well. So we're quite flexible in the way that we work, which attracts a lot of people into XOCEAN.
Cyberdeck is the application that the pilots all use to actually pilot boats remotely. So they're not nowhere near the boats. They're miles and miles away from the boats. And this screen will have their chart, where the boat is, the camera images, various things, maybe the pitch, the roll, the weather, anything they need to know. And anything else that goes wrong with that, or any additional features they want with that. You might be doing databases one day, buttons the next day, forms, camera devices, it's a broad spectrum, but anything that is software related to do with the boats, that the pilots or the surveyors or someone who is actively using this stuff and better understands what they need, they'll come to me and I'll be like, okay, yes, I can do that. No, I can't do that, but how about this? And I'll try to help them out.
So the USVs are launched locally from the site of operation on slipways. We use 2 field operatives who are the only people that we send into the field. They have a handheld device, remote control, similar to what a child would have for a remote control car, that just navigates the USV out of the marina with the support boat until it's into the open water. At that point, the pilot takes over via the satellite connection and transits the boat to the survey area, so the pilot isn't on site, they're working from home. Max speed would be about 5 knots, but when you're with current and tide it can be a bit faster, but yeah, about 5 knots. And the boats themselves are made locally in Lisnaskea in County Fermanagh, and I often get asked the questions, but where do you actually make the boats? And I'm going in Fermanagh. So it's very intriguing and exciting for people to understand that such a new technology that is now known worldwide is made here in Ireland, fitted out and built. The internals of the boat are fitted out in Louth here, but the hull of the boat is built in Fermanagh, and all the technology development is done here in Louth. I've been told this before, and it is true that you don't know what jobs are going to be in the future. Like when I was picking what college degree to do, I never knew I'd be programming for robot boats. So in a sense, don't worry about the job, but more just pick what is interesting to you. Job will figure itself out. Let's try find out what it is
you could spend the next 4 years in college that will interest you first?
For young people entering engineering, I would say that the limits of the scope of the work are endless. Engineers are employed in every industry because of our unique way we look at problems and come up with solutions. I think it's also a career that you can diversify even after you've entered a particular sector. You can easily move and apply the skills to other areas. So I'd say the scope of what you can work on and achieve in your career is quite fruitful. I see many women entering the engineering field now and excited when female members join the team, because I think we need the combination of every type of background and experience to really come up with good solutions.